You get in an elevator and the girl is also there, and you cannot help yourself. You look for a second at the girl, then you look for a second on the wall, you look at the mirror, you look all over the place. You try to check your phone, there's nothing there, you can't get even one notification to save your life at that moment. You pretend you are texting, you're looking back and forth again without looking at the girl. Oh my god, what can I do? Oh my god, why is it taking so long? And finally you are at the bottom of the building and you dart out and you go you can look at your phone again just because of habit, and then you still feel bad, but you go about your day. You never stop and analyze what happened. What happened there is you felt awkward, and you have felt awkward a lot of times in your life, but you never really took the time to think about it. What was that thing? And the thing that happened is that you did not know what to do. At least that's what happened on the surface. You did not know where to look, what to do, or what to say. So you panicked and you went all over the place. But is it actually that you did not know what to do? Maybe you wanted to talk to the girl, or maybe you were not interested at all, so you just wanted to look at your phone or look at yourself in the mirror, whatever. But you did not really do any of those things. Even when you looked at your phone, you did not look at it because you wanted to, but because you felt compelled to do something. So the point is not really that you did not know what to do, it's more that you felt scared about doing anything. So why did you feel scared? Well, you felt scared because you did not know how to act in order to get the result you wanted, which you either wanted to talk to the girl, flirt with the girl, or just wanted to go on your phone. But everything you went to do, you felt like it would have a very undefined and at the same time bad outcome. You felt like if you talk to the girl, you would go to jail, or that the girl would clown on you, or something ridiculous like that. Or you felt that if you looked at your phone because you actually wanted to, maybe it would be perceived as a sign of being awkward, and that you're not confident or something like that. So you were afraid to open up your phone right away, and you stumbled over your emotions. You were awkward. You were awkward not because you did not know what you wanted to do, but because you could not read the environment enough to know that if you act the way you want to act, everything is going to be all right. And this comes down to how autism is developed in young children. So, fun fact, autism is developed from the day you were born, pretty much. And aside from some cases that autism is developed by chemicals, autism is developed also by the simple mechanism with which human babies are evolved to learn about the environment. So babies are evolved to learn about their environment by looking at the eyes of the parents, because the eyes convey a lot of emotion and a lot of information. The baby just look at the eyes of the caregiver, and it is gathering a lot of information about the environment very fast. So if the caregiver looks worried, the baby knows not to do that, and it knows to be in a state of get out of here. On the other hand, if the caregiver looks happy or excited, something like that, the baby is also going to feel like that, and it's going to associate that situation that happened with something good. And you can really see that if you have like a niece or something, and if like a 2-year-old kid is running around and it falls and the parents get all worried, the kid starts to cry. But if the kid falls exactly the same, but the parents are, oh, the kid dropped, it's all right, boo hoo boo, and they laugh about it, and they seem to be all right about it, the kid never cries. That's a fact. Like, you can observe that anywhere. But The point is that this is the normal mechanics of things until some age at around like 3. The kid learns by simply looking at the eyes of the caregiver and integrating the emotional state of the caregiver and associating that state with the situation at hand. What happens when you have autism, though, is that the kid does not look at the eyes of the caregiver, it looks at the mouth. But the mouth does not convey all that much information, so the kid does not really perceive the outside world. It cannot really understand what is happening because it is not getting the signals eye to eye of what is happening. Why does the kid do that? Well, usually it's simply because of very stressful situations. For example, if there's abuse in the house or if a caregiver is very all over the place, screaming, etc., the kid is afraid and it is looking all around the environment and it gets trained not to look on people's eyes. And because it doesn't look at people's eyes, it does not perceive information. So growing up, you develop autism like that because you don't really perceive information from other people and you have to create a mental construct of how other people feel and think. And as we get older, that construct will get better and you will develop a decent theory of mind for other people. But especially the first years in puberty and even into early adulthood, that model is going to be crappy as hell because you simply don't have enough information because you don't look people in the eyes from a young age. So, why do you feel awkward? You feel awkward because you cannot perceive enough information. You do not have enough theory of mind for other people in order to understand what is happening right now. And when you're walking on the street alone with your headphones on, it does not really bother you because you don't really have to interact with people. But when you are 1v1 in an elevator, it's really important to be able to read other people so you can understand how they're feeling, what is happening, so you can act in a way that you do not fear it's going to be inappropriate in some way. So, what you want to do eventually is develop a very good theory of mind about other people so you don't fall into this loophole of not knowing what is going to happen, worrying about what is going to happen, and feeling more awkward as time goes on. And this is an important point because it's not only the fact that you don't know what is going to happen and you cannot pretty much predict what other people are going to do based on your actions. It is also that this is the seed of things, but you also add worrying on top of that. Because when you don't know what people are going to do and how people are going to react to you, then you start to imagine the worst case scenario because you have to protect yourself against the worst case scenario, which means that now you've gone from I don't know what is going to happen to the worst thing possible is going to happen and I have to prepare myself for that. So you start to become extra careful with everything you do, and you try to do everything very calculated and be very careful. And all this leads to tons and tons and tons of overthinking. And what happens when you overthink and when you worry is that you try to micromanage every little action and movement and word and sound you do, and at a certain level, you cannot do all these things with your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is very limited compared to your unconscious mind, which typically handles all these situations. So when you try to do everything manually with your conscious mind, you cannot do it quickly enough. So everything you do, all your actions, all the words you say, they are slow and they look mechanical, and they can get boiled down to a single word called cringe. This is why people cringe when you are around and you are being awkward. Because you are awkward because you cannot read people and you start worrying because of that and you start to overthink. And overthinking leads to trying to control everything. You cannot control everything, so you do everything mechanically, and that leads to cringe. So, what do you do about all this mess? Well, you pretty much have to cut your losses. What do I mean by that? The way you were raised is done. It's over. You cannot go back in time and raise yourself again. It's done. So, what you need to do is start perceiving information and filling in all those gaps about how other people feel and think in that moment. Today, you have to actually be calm enough when you interact with other people and to a certain degree sacrifice the extra results you would get if you micromanaged everything, which are not many. So you give up some of your control over a situation just to gather more data. So what all this means is be yourself more, meaning that when you go out next time and you are with some people, instead of trying to think about the perfect thing to say so the maximum amount of people are going to like you or like you the maximum amount, say something that's more authentic to you. Whether that means expressing an opinion or talking about a hobby you have or whatever. The point is that the more authentic you are, the less you overthink, and that will lead to some better results in the moment. But more importantly, it's going to free up your mind to be able to perceive the information of that certain moment so you can process it later. And over time, you're going to gather enough information to create a full and complete theory of mind about other people, which is going to lead to not overthinking because you don't have to. When you have a full theory of mind, then you can let your subconscious do the work by simply knowing what you want out of a situation. So if you're in an elevator with the girl I was talking about, you will be able to read in a split second if that girl is up to it. And if she's up to it, you're going to talk to her in a very natural and flirty manner. But and if she's not into it, you will very easily understand, and it's not going to be awkward. It's going to be smooth. It's going to have a certain flow to it. But of course, at first, because you don't have a very good theory of mind right now, if you let loose to a certain degree and maybe you talk about a niche and stupid interest of yours, maybe, yeah, people are not going to find it interesting or fun or whatever. And you lose a bit of social capital in the moment. But long term, if you try to micromanage everything, you will get slightly better results in that moment, but you will get zero progress overall, or very little progress. So, what I propose is let the current moment be slightly worse from time to time in order to improve significantly faster. And to do that, you have to really drill in your head the fact that with the pace you're going right now, you're never going to make it. If you look at your pace through the years you were in puberty to now, whichever age you are, to be here, you probably are not satisfied with that rate. So if you really want to skyrocket that rate of progression and how good you get at things fast, then you have to be in the moment more, and you have to let loose of that control, of that extra 5% you're going to get by micromanaging everything, which in many cases you won't get at all. But even in the cases you will get it, it's not worth the potential you are losing at that moment just for that 5% extra. Just don't be